Hello, everybody. It's Ratnado of twitch.tv/Team Ratnado. You may know of me from such great streams as Lay Thick Boys and others. But today, I'm here with someone who you may know, my co-host.
Howdy, y'all. It's me. I just strolled up from the saloon and my horse broke down, so that's why it took me a little while to get here. But how y'all doing? I'm not going to talk like that this whole time. I'm sorry.
Well, howdy! I unfortunately am going to be talking like that. No, just kidding. Hello, how are you, listener? What's up? We'll give you like 3 seconds. No, Sqat's shaking his head no. I'm still learning how to do this whole podcast thing, okay, everybody? But this is Sqat Cobbler of the Scrollies podcast.
It is me. I'm back.
If you know, you knows. And today we've got a very interesting topic, something that is, well, in Sqat Cobbler's heart. And to me, is, let's say, going into my heart. We're talking about Monkelikes. Now, that might be a term you're not familiar with, but trust me, people in the industry are starting to talk.
Yeah, it's going to be a talk of the town starting today. Monkelikes. We're talking the DKC games and their derivatives.
Some might say the genre is new. I would define it as DK Revolution. But hey, industry heads are using different words now.
You know, DK Revolution, it's so 1994. I think the ape escape is what we'll call it now. We're escaping from these tried and true formats, and all will be monkey.
Eventually, all will be monkey. And, you know, as a Homo sapiens, I guess I am a little bit monkey already. So, great to hear. Interesting that you brought that up. Interesting that you're specifically talking about Ape Escape and how everybody in the 90s and early 2000s was trying to, let's say, maybe be like Monkey.
You know, Monkey was the face of Nintendo for a few years. I know it's hard to believe, Mario, Zelda, but if you look back on Nintendo Power covers, if you look back on early websites, DK, he was front and center because of the success of the Donkey Kong Country series, pushing the graphical boundaries of the Super Nintendo into 3D, pseudo 3D. as we discussed in episode 1. But
exactly. Hey, whoa, let's not backtread.
Yeah, we're pressing on. We're past that. Monkey was revolutionary in a graphical sense and in some ways a gameplay sense. We'll get more into that later. But I think, yeah, there was definitely an attempt to, at the very least, capitalize on the mascot platformer throughout the 90s, even before DK, Sonic the Hedgehog, Bubsy, others.
I can't believe you brought up Bubsy the Bobcat, because that's exactly what I was going to say. I have vivid memories of hanging out in my aunt's house. My cousins had a Super Nintendo just like we did, but instead of Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario World, Mega Man X, these classics, my cousins had Bubsy the Bobcat. And it was the weirdest game ever. It was definitely, I feel like, I was like, why are they trying to be monkey? Only one can be monkey.
Only one can be monkey. That's amazing. I thought Bubsy was just a meme, but you're telling me it's real?
Bubsy the Bobcat is real. I remember playing it and being like, this game is kind of fun, but I'd kind of rather be playing something else.
I can't believe it. Well, I actually haven't played Bubsy. I just brought that up as a afterthought, one that just popped into my head deep from the recesses of AVGN memory. Tell me, what was it like playing Bubsy the Bobcat?
Okay, so this is something that I think a lot of you, if you played Super Nintendo, you know there were, like, I guess AAA games, and then there was, like, the 1A games or the 2A games. And I kind of feel like that's how, like, Bubsy was very much... It's strange that Bubsy the Bobcat is something so ingrained in my mind, because it really wasn't that great. I was actually literally watching video. You can go to my YouTube history, and I was watching it, like, 30 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh. Bubsy lives on in your heart to this day as a hidden gem, maybe?
No, not a hidden gem. Not a hidden gem. Well, and I think the thing is...
Guilty pleasure, then. Well, why? No one just looks up Bubsy the Bobcat videos in 2022. There's a reason for this.
There was a question on a stream the other day of like, what game gets you nostalgic? You know which one I'm talking about.
Hey, shout out Slim Cognito Entertainment.
Slim Cognito. That was his question. And Bubsy is definitely something that was very much like nostalgic. Like, again, I have memories of being at my aunt's house, My cousin's playing it, but like I said, it wasn't a great game. And mascot platforming, I'm gonna use Monkelike. Okay, I like that. I like that. But to me, that's kind of like, hey, look at this cute guy, and he jumps around, and he doesn't kill anyone unless he jumps on their head, and they don't actually die. They just look like they're in pain, hold out their arms, and then fall off screen. Right?
Right.
Okay. Well, Sqat Cobbler, I guess that's kind of what we're talking about. What makes a Monkelike, and what makes a knockoff Monkelike?
Ooh, well, I think to discuss what makes a Monkelike, we need to discuss what made Monkelikes.
It's me, Mario!
Everyone was trying to be Mario, because Mario was the face of video games. You weren't playing your Sega Genesis.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't.
According to your parents, you were playing on Nintendo. Everything was a Nintendo. Everything was a Mario-like entertainment. He was an icon.
Fair enough. So Mario likes.
Everyone's trying to copy Mario. He jumps, he wahoos, he eats shrooms. Everyone's trying to be Mario. Sonic the Hedgehog comes along. He's got attitude. He wasn't Sega's first attempt at a mascot, but he was the first successful attempt. And I'd say Monkey was response to Sonic. He didn't go fast like Sonic, but he was dredged up from the depths of Nintendo's storage bin. Donkey Kong, the arcade character from 1981, had seen a few appearances since then. In NES games, Donkey Kong 3, Donkey Kong Jr., ports of the arcade games. People don't like those ones as much, but they happened, everyone. They happened. Super Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Jr. was in that. That was before the DK Revolution. Everything changed when Rare approached Nintendo, said, hey, we were able to put 3D graphics on a Game Boy. They said, how were you able to put 3D graphics on a Game Boy? Well, you see, we took these Silicon Graphics workstations, the same ones that made Jurassic Park, and we compressed these polygons down to sprites. And we did it on the Game Boy. We think we can do it on the Super Nintendo. I wasn't actually there for this conversation. I'm paraphrasing. So Nintendo offered them one of their oldest characters, Donkey Kong. They said, hey, take this, do a new spin on it. They were going to have Diddy be a revamped version of Donkey Kong Jr. Nintendo was like, nah, we don't really like that. Either go with the old design or make him a new character. So that's how we got Diddy. And everything from there is history. It's history of the revolution. It was a big success, a late title Super Nintendo game that looked like it was from the future. And I think the graphics are really a big reason why it was such a big hit. Huge push in the marketing. The realistic 3D backgrounds, the fluid animations, couldn't be done with sprites. So Monkey came from Sonic coming from Mario. That's the hot take for today.
Okay, the question that I wanted to ask then too is, what do you think about how everything shook out between those? Specifically, let's talk about Mario, Sonic, and Donkey Kong, because my take on it is that they all kind of ended up in similar places, with Mario being the most conservative. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just talking about characters. Okay, so we get Sonic, and he's a cool, radical dude for Plaidman to draw and have a plushie of out on the park, right? Out during recess. And then we have Donkey Kong comes along, and he already introduces a huge cast. I mean, we've got Luigi, we've got Princess Toadstool, and we've got some little mushroom guys, right? Bowser. Like, not like the biggest cast ever, right?
Yeah.
We go to Sonic. Yeah, you got Robotnik, or sorry, Eggman. I apologize. Please don't at me.
It was always Eggman in Japan, sir.
I can already hear the ats. Actually, just kidding. We love you, healthcare hero. But Sonic, we got Tails, we got Sonic, we got Eggman. And then Donkey Kong Country comes along and, at least to me, revolutionizes it by bringing in everybody.
Everyone is here.
Cranky, funky, candy, right?
Right.
Oh, you guys, I'm winning Sqat's approval right now, and it feels so good.
I'm giving him 4 thumbs up, my 2 hands and then my monkey feet. And the reason why you have such a huge swath of original characters in Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 especially is because nothing is more rareware than to introduce a new gameplay element, not with just expositional box from a character you met before. No, a whole new character just to explain that one thing that you do. So you don't have Cranky save your game, you have Candy save your game. You don't have Candy take you to a different part of the island, you have Funky do that. And then, oh, have you been paying attention throughout the game? Yeah? You think you're ready for some trivia? Well, why don't you head over to Funky and... No! Swanky is going to run a trivia sideshow that will reward you with more lives. Thank you, Rareware, for being so original that you came up with dozens of characters when you could have easily come up with a third of that.
That's true. And that's a good thing, too. I think it's a little bit like George Lucas and his planets. You know, why make a diverse planet when you can just make Hoth and it's just all snow and ice? Kind of the same thing. Hey, what's up? I'm Candy. I'm here to save your game. And that's about it.
That's about it. I'm also a relic of the 90s and would not hold up in this modern climate.
True. Okay, so here's the thing, though, too. All right, so I want to talk about that and kind of like the different stereotypes that they fulfilled. You've got DK, he's straight-laced, he wants his bananas, he's wearing a tie, he's ready to put in work. And we got our little cool, young, hip Diddy Kong who appeals to, at least, the young male audience with his boombox and hat backwards. Sqat, tell me about Diddy and why he affected you so much.
Hi, former young male audience here. Diddy Kong was my favorite. To this day, February 16th, 2022, or 1894, I'm not really sure. Diddy Kong is my Twitch and Discord profile and has been for well over a year. He is a character very near and dear to my heart. Ever since I was a young monk, Diddy Kong was there to show me the way to be courageous and perhaps even a little headstrong, arrogant.
Don't forget hip and cool.
Young Sqat didn't have too much going for him there. We're talking about the DK revolutionist in 2004 here. But yeah, no, I love Diddy Kong. I think he's probably the best case scenario, given that he was supposed to be a Donkey Kong Jr. replacement, revamp, whatever you want to call it. Donkey Kong Jr. I like as well. I talked about that in episode 1. That was my first ever game that I owned. But tell me, what does Donkey Kong Jr.'s character entail? He wears a leotard and he's likes dropping fruits, and that's about it. Diddy Kong actually has some personality traits, and I think that is a great addition to the DK lore. Dixie Kong is a girlfriend. That's some relational introductions.
Cute puppy love. Yeah, I always thought that was cute as a kid. You know, hey, Diddy, Dixie, they like each other. They're just hanging out, just doing what they can. Young love, you know. Okay, so let's move on. Here's another thing I want to bring up, and I want you to tell me about this. Funky Kong starts out as a super chill guy. He's just like surfing in Donkey Kong. And then, by the likes of Nintendo 64, he's become like this gun dude. What happened in between there that led Funky to that?
Well, let's not breeze over Funky's whole career. He was a mechanic in Donkey Kong Country 3. He built the hovercraft that Dixie and Kitty used to cruise around the northern hemisphere.
And then in the second, I don't even remember what Funky was in the second.
He was still a surfer dude in the second.
Okay, so he just kind of...
He could actually fly on a surfboard, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was pretty dope, actually.
But, we're not interested in that. Those all happened within a 1-year period. 4 years after... 3 years after DKC3, Funky shows back up as an arms dealer.
Yeah.
What the heck is up with that? And, you know, I can't claim to understand. I can't claim to know for sure, but I can perhaps empathize. If your home, nay, your family, is attacked 3 times in a row by the same crocodilian, well, let's just say you might be willing to cross some lines that you wouldn't dare cross before. You know, it's not to be approved of, it's not to be applauded, but maybe it can be understood.
And that's the great thing about Donkey Kong Country is that at the end of the day, I guess they're not really like killing each other, are they? They're just hitting each other with barrels, jumping on each other's heads. You know, there's never like even a game over screen. You've got Diddy and he's just got his head wrapped and he's, you know, rubbing his head.
They're just maimed. They're not killed. Any enemies go and then they fall off screen. You know, we don't know if they got up when they fell. They might have limped away. They might have stayed there. You know, who's to say?
Fair. I've begun to navigate the depths of Sqat Cobbler's Donkey Kong Country knowledge. I've put together a meticulous, very important list that defines your Mario likes or even your Monkey likes, because I fundamentally think Mario and a Donkey Kong Country game are different. You do jump on heads, but I would say one thing is no weapons and you don't turn into anything. Is that true?
I'd say this is accurate. You do not change form in a Monkelike.
Well, except animals.
Well, you're still Monkey. You're just riding on a spider, a rhinoceros, a snake.
I thought that you turned into something at some point.
Oh, okay. Well, if we're getting technical, there are the animal crates that you break, and you can then ride on your animal buddies. There are the animal barrels that you jump into, and thus transform into the animals. But I was thinking more along the lines of those were swapping you out for your animal buddies, not that they were turning you into them outright. But I don't know the complex mechanics of barrel jumping, so I can't say for sure what scientifically happens in them.
Maybe that's a point where we need to dig in. There's tons of other podcasts that talk about video games. Maybe we're the ones that look into what happens when Monkey breaks barrel, when Monkey breaks crate. Is something happening there? All this and more later on laythickboys.fandom.com. Okay, to move on. Collectibles, secret after-game, post-game content. Is that only in Donkey Kong Country 2?
That is in Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3. There is a method of 101%ing Donkey Kong Country 1. It's really hard to keep track of because there's no way to know how much completion you have per level. This is a system that got better with each game. You just kind of had to go off a guide, or you had to just guess if you had a level completed throughout the first one. In the second one, if you got all the bonus barrels, you had an exclamation point at the end of the level's name. If you got the DK coin, you had a exclamation point plus the DK coin at the end of the level's name. In the third game, best of all, you had a flag that was raised at the end of each level. If the flag was flowing in the wind, that means that you had acquired all the bonus items in that level. If it was flowing in the wind with a small yellow flag, that means that you had the DK coin in that level. With these bonus levels completed in Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, you unlocked the Lost World and Crematoa, respectively. These were secret bonus worlds that allowed you to get the true ending of the game upon completion.
How many times have you done that, Sqat Cobbler?
0.
You've never done it.
I am not a completionist whatsoever. I can count on one hand the games that I have completed 100%. Mario 64, technically not Majora's Mask because I never got all the heart pieces. I did get all the masks, though.
That is honestly kind of crazy to me because I would assume it's like one of your favorite games that you would 100% it.
You know, not all games should be 100% in, but maybe soon enough, sometime in the near or distant future, Donkey Kong Country 2 will join the ranks of being one of the select few games to be 102% completed.
That's the great thing about going back to the 1800s is you've got nothing but time.
I've got nothing but time to prep and wait and live long enough to see this game released. And maybe then I'll be ready.
Then you'll be ready. All right. Well, we've been talking a lot about these. Is there anything specifically, Sqat Cobbler, that you have always wanted to tell people about Donkey Kong Country that you haven't had a chance to?
Donkey Kong Country?
Let's say the Donkey Kong Extended Universe.
Well, that sounds like a very trademarkable term.
The DKEU.
The DKEU. All right. You know, while I have your attention, everyone, I'm going to say it. I'm going to make it known. It's time for another 3D DK.
Whoa, hold on. This is wild. We're just a podcast here, sir.
It's overdue, quite honestly. The N64, you know. We talked about in episode 1, some of my most beloved games on it, but not a great time for video games. A lot of series that had found their footing, such as DKC and Monkelike, struggled a bit to transition into 3D. You could say that it made some steps forward, it made a few steps back, maybe even a lot of steps back. But is that really where we give up? Do we just go back to 2D indefinitely from here on out? No. It's 2022. DK64 was 23 years ago. It's time. It's time for us to get another 3D DK streamlined improved upon with more to do or less? I'll leave that for the developers to decide. But the question is who? Who would take on this mantle? Because Rareware's out. They're over at Microsoft. They're doing Sea of Thieves. There's Retro Studios. They did the new DKC games. But they're working on Metroid Prime 4. So even if they do another DK, are they really going to do a 3D DK, or are they going to do another in their series? I think the time has come for DK to return home, to go back to Nintendo proper, and for them to make a 3D DK. The game we've all wanted all this time. And it won't require a bongo controller accessory.
Those are big words. Is this a prophecy or a promise?
This is a prophecy based on rumblings in the revolutionist rumor mill. I have no proof at this point, but I think it's coming. I think the time for DK is now. If you look at the signs, we are getting a Donkey Kong expansion to Super Nintendo World. They could do any of their other series. Zelda, they could do Animal Crossing, they could do Pokemon, Kirby. I mean, huge names.
That's
But
a
they're
good
going
point.
with DK. Why would they be doing this if not for a reason? Donkey Kong is appearing in the Mario movie.
Oh
Now,
boy.
you could say, hey, a mistake? Maybe. Seth Rogen voice acting? Questionable. But nonetheless, Nintendo has given their ape to be in this film. None of their other... Side note. You know, I know what people are thinking. Oh, yeah, you know, DK is a Mario side character. Well, you're incorrect, but we're going to go along with that train of thought because I think most people would be of that mind. None of the other Mario side characters. Yoshi, I don't think, was announced for this movie. Mallow, Super Mario RPG, he's not in this movie. Even Waluigi, not in this movie. Now, it's still very early. We don't have a trailer. We're just going off that Nintendo voice cast announcement from several months back. But Donkey Kong's going to be in this movie. Why would they include him if not for a reason? I say the time for DK is upon us. When all these moments converge, we are going to receive a new Donkey Kong game. Perhaps even in the third dimension.
Oh my goodness. Are you willing to bet on this? Maybe not money.
I'm willing to bet all my 1894 savings on this prediction.
Oh my goodness. All right, here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. It's official. Record it. Download it. The only way it's changing now is if Sqat Cobbler somehow, at some point in the past, deletes all podcasts and this is removed from your memory. Could happen.
Future Squat's thinking, oh, I've made such a terrible, terrible mistake. Why did I think all these unrelated little tidbits were somehow leading to something greater? Oh, no.
No, I think I'm really excited to see that. I think I would say I'm a DK revolutionist. Ladies and gentlemen at home, are you a
Loud
DK
and proud.
revolutionist? If you are, please go to the Discord, go to the Lay Thick Boys Discord or the Team Ratnado Discord, and just write in there, just at one of us or both of us and say, I am a DK revolutionist. Okay? At us, at Team Ratnado, at Ralph Nato, at Sqat Cobbler, and we'll respond.
Welcome to the cause, brothers and sisters.
I do think he makes some good points. And honestly, all that stuff sounds great. I've played 3D Monkey, and it was fine. However, I will say the one thing I am looking forward to, the biggest thing, the most important thing, is to hear Donkey Kong go like that. That's the only thing I need.
You know, Grant Kirkhope, you've had a good run, but I think my text tone might be changing soon.
All right, Sqat. Great episode, man. I had fun this time. What'd you think?
I think any chance to talk about Monkey is a good chance, and I'm glad we could take this opportunity to stroll down memory lane and even look beyond into the future.
I agree. We talked about monkey likes. I think I learned a little bit. There's some stuff I didn't know. Again, I'm still learning it. I need to finish DKC, DKC 2, and 3 on my own. I've played through them. Shout out to my childhood friend, Randy. We beat DKC 2. Took us until 6 a.m. in the morning, but we did it. Maybe 5 a.m. And I'm still working on those, folks. I've got a lot to learn. But I can say I've beat Donkey Kong 64. I am a true revolutionist.
Ratnado is a true revolutionist. He wears that badge
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We're going to call it here, but we had a great time. As always, I am Ratnado, twitch.tv/Team Ratnado, and I'm here with co-host, the monkey himself, the DK Revolutionist.
It is I, Sqat Cobbler, happy to be back.
Good hearing you. Sqat Cobbler of the Scrollies podcast, everybody. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Really appreciate it. Let your friends know. We want to talk about more fun stuff, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
See ya.